Probably everyone who watched the oil saga, which we will not describe again, remembers its final chord. When information went to the press that, with the help of Trump, the Saudis were able to agree in principle to sit on the hectares with the Russians, or rather, at the same table, the price of Brent oil began to rise from $22 per barrel and reached almost $35. But this is an exchange price that is based on the expectations of something specific. But any agreement on oil can concern only production volumes. It is impossible to negotiate a price, since it is the artificially set price that will be the cause for lawsuits worth billions of dollars for a cartel agreement. There is no doubt that a number of law firms have special monitoring groups that are waiting for such a trick, and then those who agreed on the price will be guaranteed to pay astronomical compensation amounts. But in negotiating restrictions on oil production, oil exporters still have in mind its price. True, they call it oil market stabilization or something else, but the meaning still comes down to the price of a barrel of oil. Only here a decrease in production affects only one variable of the formula, which determines the final price of the product for the consumer. In this case, the second significant variable is demand, which no one can influence in such a gangway in principle. But it is precisely the drop in demand that has been occurring for consecutive years, which forces the cartel to reduce production. And with the events that became inevitable as a result of the pandemic, the demand didn't just sit even lower, but a new question arose: will it be restored in the long run? In fact, this is not a rhetorical question, since the process of reducing demand, relative to nominal production volumes, has been going on for many years, and it can be assumed that numerous environmental programs are constantly reducing this demand, and the crisis may accelerate this process. And this means that relying on the restoration of demand in the previous parameters is very self-confident. There is one more argument directly related to a decrease in demand: stock balances or oil reserves at consumers. Now they are simply gigantic, and many consumers can work for months on their reserves without buying a ton of oil. The last argument, or rather, the coefficient, is connected with exchange expectations, which are precisely based on the analysis of demand, supply and balances. As a matter of fact, they show that base price of a barrel of Brent crude oil, which is a guideline for all other oil sellers. These very expectations drove the price up to $35. But all this happened until one important point. After Trump confirmed his participation in the negotiations, oil went up. But if Putin had been more modest and he did not carry nonsense, then everything would have looked different. But Putin, he's lying like he's breathing. And now he's just been calculated and beaten because he is predictable and stupid. Moreover, he doesn't need to be beaten. He will hew himself better than anyone would. And then, just look at how they put Putin's nose exactly into what he personally did. So, oil went up sharply, and after the panic, which was at the level of $22, there was euphoria. Putin decided to take advantage of this and sell the situation as his personal achievement. He gave speeches that he managed to persuade not only Saudis, but also Trump to cooperate, and that the states would take part in OPEC in order to also commit themselves to reduction.